college basketball action here on Channel 6. Tonight on Valentine's Day evening, the Lady Dons are entertaining the Kentucky State Ball Club, and this should be a good ball game, a very important ball game for the Lady Dons as they continue their pursuit toward postseason play. Hi, this is Alan Reby. I'm joined tonight with Dave Skelton, and Dave, we look for a good ball game tonight.
We sure do, and like you mentioned just a minute ago, it's an important ball game for Indiana-Purdue in their quest not only for the NCAA postseason play, but for the conference championship, which is still a possibility.
The Lady Dons come in with a 17-5 overall record, 10-3 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, and Dave, a couple of ball games on the road last week. The Lady Dons splitting their 2 games on the road, and with 6 games left to go in the schedule, each game very important if they want to get into the tournament.
Yes, they're important, even though as they look at Kentucky State tonight, a ball club that hasn't had a lot of success, yet they're a young ball club, and that's the kind of team that at the tail end of the season can give you fits.
As we mentioned, IPFW had its 10-game winning streak snapped last week to Kentucky Wesleyan, losing to the Panthers on the road 63-59. Dave, you said you were there, and Lady Dons had some opportunities to win, just couldn't get over the hump in the ball game.
Had an opportunity to see that ball game. It's a long way from Fort Wayne to Owensboro, Kentucky, but was there and saw the game. It was one of those afternoons when, after having played very, very well on Thursday night, one of their better performances, I understand, at Evansville. Then comes Saturday afternoon, the opposite seemed to happen to them. They had difficulty getting the ball to score, couldn't get the ball to go in the hoop, but they did, I was describing to you just a little bit earlier, with about 8 minutes to go, they were behind by 14 points. With 3 minutes to go, they cut that lead to 2 and had an opportunity to tie, but it just didn't fall for them.
I think we have an opportunity to take a look at the conference standings coming into tonight's action. You can see Northern Kentucky leading the conference at 11-1, Bellarmine at 10-2, and then the Lady Dons right there at 10-3. Highly regarded St. Joe, who's been in that top 20 a couple of times earlier in the year, at 8-5, Ashland at 8-5, Kentucky Wesleyan at 7-6. And then rounding out the conference, University of Indianapolis, Lewis, Kentucky State, and Southern Indiana. Some good ball clubs in the conference this year. The Lady Dons certainly have played a very tough schedule, and to Terry Rosinski's credit to have her young ball club in the conference chase this late in the season.
Very much so. And as we saw those standings, Al, it was interesting to note that as disappointed as I'm sure they were at losing Saturday's game, they still have a game left with Bellarmine, still have a game left with Northern Kentucky, the 2 teams ahead of them. And regardless of whether they had won or lost last Saturday, they have to come back and beat those 2 clubs yet to win the conference.
Well, the ball clubs huddling with their respective coaches. We might add that Kentucky State, the Thoroughbreds, coached by Oscar Downs, and of course Terry Rosinski in her 4th season coaching the Lady Dons. I think we're just about set to go down to the floor for the introduction of the starting lineups for the folks here. Be joining the public address announcer here in a second.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the IPFW Multi-Purpose Athletic Center and tonight's GLVC contest between the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State University and your IPFW Lady Dons. Kentucky State University comes in at 1-11 in the GLVC, 3-18 overall. The starting lineup for KSU: at 1 guard, a 5'5" sophomore from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 33, Dara Lofton. At the other guard, a 5'8" freshman from Lexington, Kentucky, number 34, Kenita Sloan. At the center position, a 5'11" freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, number 52, Daphne Johnson. At 1 forward, a 5'9" junior from Toledo, Ohio, number 42, Tracy Baker. And at the other forward, a 5'9" junior from Louisville, Kentucky, number 45, Chiffon Vaughn. And now the starting lineup for the IPFW Lady Dons. They come in at 10-3 in the GLVC, 17-5 overall. At one guard, a 5'5" senior from South Bend, Indiana, number 20, Dawn Harbaugh. At the other guard, a 5'9" junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 24, Lisa Miller. At the center position, a 5'9" senior from Summitville, Indiana, number 45, Robin Scott. At one forward, a 5'9" freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 22, Dawn Dressler. At the other forward, a 5'9" junior from Huntington, Indiana, number 35, Shelly Sands. The head coach for Kentucky State University is Oscar Downs. He is assisted by Carolyn Walker. And the head coach for IPFW is Terry Rosinski. She is assisted by Amy Heil. The GLVC officials for tonight are Jay Smith and Bob Stembazi.
Dave, we might see a little history here in the first half. Robin Scott needs only a single point to become IPFW's all-time leading scorer. And, of course, Lisa Miller is right behind her.
With another 7 points, yes, Lisa will be right in the running. And I saw just a little bit ago on the other side of the floor in the stands, the young lady who currently is the co-holder of that record, Tina Merrill, who graduated a year ago. So it should be an exciting evening, and they may trade back and forth as the season goes along here as being the career leaders.
Well, we're just about set to start tonight's action. Tina Merrill, at least momentarily, has that record at 1,485 total career points for the Lady Dons. And we're underway here at the multi-purpose building. Kentucky State controls the opening tip, and let's see what they can do on offense as they try to swing it inside. And Lisa Miller picked it off, and here come the Lady Dons. Tries to baseline it to Sands, and she caught up with it and then threw it away. And the ball goes sailing out of bounds at midcourt. Back to the Lady Dons.
Both teams a little antsy here at the beginning and having trouble getting down and getting in position to get a shot.
Dawn Harbaugh to Lisa Miller. She'll try to work her way baseline. Pass intended for Scott, knocked out of bounds. Kentucky State 3-19 coming into the action and 1-11 in the conference. Have lost 8 games in a row on the road. Robin Scott will trigger it in. Harbaugh.
A new face in the starting lineup tonight is Dawn Dressler. We see Lisa Miller get the first 2 of the night.
Dawn has been playing very, very well for the Lady Dons and earns a starting spot, and the Lady Dons off to a 2-0 lead. Lofton with the ball and will swing it outside to Baker. She'll set it up. Looks like the Lady Dons are in a man-to-man.
Yeah, they are for their defense, and they're playing them very tight right now.
Shot missed by Chiffon Vaughn. Here come the Lady Dons in the rebound. Shelly Sands thought about the baseline. Has the ball taken right away from her, but loose ball picked up by Dawn Harbaugh. She'll swing it to Sands, to Scott. Can't penetrate. She'll come back outside. Kentucky State appears to be in a man-to-man as well. There's Scott, drives and can't get it.
And that shot was kind of typified some of the difficulties they had at Owensboro last Saturday. The ball never got up high enough to go in. We'll see if they can shake that here yet tonight.
Shot from the outside by Sloan, no good. Rebound, Kentucky State puts it up and misses an easy one as Dara Lofton had an easy opportunity. Here come the Lady Dons. Miller quickly tries to feed it to Scott and let her a little too much, and the ball goes out of bounds. So turnover gives the ball back to the Kentucky State ball club. 2-0. We're just starting. A little slow getting out of the gate by both ball clubs.
2 minutes of action, and we've seen about 6 turnovers, 1 basket. Could be the weather outside.
Lofton controls it across midcourt. Harbaugh hounding her. Cross courts at Devon. There's a shot inside. Nice pass inside.
Nice strong shot in the inside.
Johnson with the bucket. We're tied at 2. Scott, right of the key. Right baseline to Miller. Can't shoot. Back outside to Scott. They work it around. There's a shot up by Miller, and she's fouled. Good move to the basket by Lisa, and she'll be at the line for 2 shots.
Lisa does an excellent job of getting in position to shoot and either make a basket or get fouled on the way to the basket.
Lisa, of course, a very, very fine free throw shooter. Leading scorer, comes in averaging about 22 a game. Misses on that one, however. Good look at the Lisa from Fort Wayne. 1 out of 2 at the line, and it's a 3-2 ball game. Lofton, little backcourt pressure here by the Lady Dons.
And they do that a lot to try to put the pressure on and make it difficult for the ball to come down.
Lofton out front. Harbaugh will pick her up. In the corner it goes to Sloan. Inside, a shot is up and in by Chiffon Vaughn. She was in good position and got the 5-footer, and it's 4-3. Harbaugh to Dressler. Dressler left of the key. Inside it goes to Sands. Nice pass to Dressler, and she almost dropped it, held on to it, and lays it in. Good play by Sands to Dressler for the bucket. 5-4 Lady Dons. Thoroughbreds with the basketball.
It was a nice pass inside, although it did kind of surprise Dawn. I think it surprised Robin that she was so wide open.
There was a quick move by Lofton down the free throw lane, and she got called for traveling. She kind of shuffled her feet. I think she was surprised she was so open. Dressler out front, looks inside for Miller. Miller will feed it left corner. It goes to Harbaugh. Shot a little long. Rebound all Kentucky State.
Both teams having a little bit of difficulty getting on track here early tonight.
Lofton cross courts it. There's Vaughn, and she tried to feed it underneath to Johnson, and the ball went sailing over her head out of bounds. So another turnover, and the ball comes right back to the Lady Dons. Long pass up court to Dressler. She's driving. To Miller. She'll try to baseline, put it up in traffic, and she's fouled.
Hit the deck pretty hard, but she usually bounces back.
Number 52.
She will be going to the line to shoot another couple of free throws.
Daphne Johnson with the foul, and Miller will be at the line again. Miller does get that ball up at the basket when she drives, and spends a lot of time at the free throw line during the course of a game. 6-4 as she drops in the first one. Here's a good shot of Lisa. Second one is up and good. 7-4, Lady Dons by 3. Kentucky State with the basketball. Vaughn quickly brings it up. Baker had it.
Good trap defense.
Nice defensive play by Sands. Almost taken away at midcourt. And a foul called on Dara Lofton for reaching in on Don Harbaugh.
Her first, the team's third.
So Robin Scott will put it in at side court, outside to Dressler. Left corner Sands looking for Miller, has the ball taken away and intercepted. Nice defensive play by Baker. Baker zigzagging her way down the court. Jump pass, long jumper is up by Sloan, no good. Rebound, Baker saves it from going out of bounds right to Robin Scott.
And here come the Mastodons down the floor quickly. Intercepted though, but kicked out of bounds.
Michelle Connolly coming in for the Lady Dons, and Shelly Sands will come out of the ball game. Robin Scott will trigger it in. He'll work it in the backcourt to Harbaugh. Right corner Scott. Shot is up and in, and there's your record holder.
There's the history maker for the moment.
All-time leading scorer now for IPFW. It's a long pass and wide open. Had beat the Lady Don defense down to the other end. Chiffon Vaughn, and she scores. 9-6.
Looks like the pace is going to pick up a little bit here.
Nice pass inside to Conley. Dumps it to Miller, and her shot's a little long. Rebound comes off to Baker of Kentucky State. Lofton will control it up court. Thought about shooting it. Now will from about 18 feet. No good. Rebound Dressler.
And that was nice to see that time that there were 3 white shirts around that ball to rebound it. Good position by the Mastodons.
Scott in the left corner. Cross courts it to Dressler. She'll take it right to the basket and in.
Nice move.
Nice aggressive move by the freshman. Robin Scott knocked the inbounds pass out of bounds. Second IPFW substitution, Ann Leakin in. And Don Dressler will sit down. Harbaugh also comes out of the game, and Amy Perkins is in. Lofton, Baker, across midcourt. Vaughn had it for a second, back outside to Lofton. Here's she likes to handle the ball a lot for the Kentucky State offense. Baker outside, in traffic, will put it up. No good. Rebound Perkins. Amy doesn't get many rebounds, but she got that one.
She had the position that time, and no bigger than she is. Did a good job.
Robin, free throw line, right corner. Miller outside Perkins, and she traveled. She thought about making that pass inside and shuffled the feet.
Changed her mind just a little bit there. But Coach Rosinski keeping fresh people in the ball game, as she typically does, and keeps that pace turned up about as far as it'll go.
Lofton will walk it across court. Tried to feed it inside, and I think we got Michelle Conley for a reach around foul. She was caught out of position a little bit, trailing Chiffon Vaughn. Bumped her and got called for the foul.
On her last basket,
so Kentucky State will put it in play underneath their own bucket on the common foul. Baker will trigger it into Sloan in the backcourt. Sloan will drive, put it up in traffic, no good. Rebound Miller. Fights out with it. Long pass up to Scott. She's all the way down, lays it up and in. Nice outlet pass by Miller to Scott. Scott steals it and puts it up and in. Nice play by Robin Scott. Backcourt pressure really, there's another steal by Leakin. Cross courts it to Scott. Pressure giving Kentucky State some problems, but then they come up with a steal.
Got a little lax with the pass that time.
Lofton behind the back dribble to lose her defender. Cross-court pass to Vaughn. Vaughn in the lane will put it up and in and out, no good. Rebound Miller.
Again, IPFW is getting real good position on the rebounding end of the missed shots by the Kentucky State team.
There's Conley with a fadeaway 5-foot jumper, and she scores. 17-6, the Lady Dons out to a nice lead, and Kentucky State calls timeout. They want to talk about it.
Nice move that last time by Michelle Conley inside, and she's one of the freshmen, along with Dawn Dressler and Kim Recker, who have really improved as this season has moved along and make a nice contribution to this women's basketball team.
You saw a brief shot there of Oscar Downs, the coach of Kentucky State, and he doesn't want to dig too much deeper a hole here in the first half, so a quick timeout with 12:48 left to go in the first half. Here's that replay on that fadeaway jumper by the freshman Conley. Good baseline position, and took advantage of her size and just dropped it in.
Yes, she did, and that's the kind of move we'll look forward to seeing a lot of the rest of this year and for 3 more years.
Well, there's no doubt that Terry Rosinski has really committed to play a lot of people this year, and a lot of the freshmen have received some very valuable experience. And Conley and Dressler and Recker have really come to the forefront here in the last 4 or 5 ball games, and are real contributors now to the Lady Dons cause, game in and game out.
Well, the pace of the game that IPFW chooses to play, they need to have good depth and be able to substitute pretty regularly, because they're up and down the court and going at it with their full court press, as we'll see right here.
Daphne Johnson will put it in play, almost threw it away. Sloan will control it across midcourt, and she carries the ball, I believe. Yeah, she was trying to get her way into the lane and called for the carry, and another turnover, and the Lady Dons will get it back.
During the timeout, Shelly Sands and Dawn Dressler came back into the lineup to give Robin Scott and Lisa Miller a rest.
Dressler, nice pass to Leakin, and she's hammered on the play. So there's a couple of freshmen playing well.
That's right.
Leakin will be at the line to see what she can do, but a nice pass inside by Dawn Dressler. We'll see it right here on the replay. Takes it to the hole, and a nice jump pass inside, and there's the foul. Good shot of man, and she gets it to drop.
Got a nice roll.
That'll make it 18-6. Lady Dons. And from Ferdinand, Indiana. Second one is up and in. 19-6. There's that full court pressure again. See Dressler all over Vaughn there. Long pass down court to Baker. She got behind the defense and blew the lay-in. Almost came up with the steal, but Perkins comes up with it. And she gets it up court to Sands. Now Amy will control it out front. Inside to Conley, and she scores. She got her shot over Johnson. 21-6. Baker across midcourt for Kentucky State. Will take it to the basket. Collision, no call. Loose ball picked up by Sands. Amy Perkins will control it now across midcourt. Here's Shelley on the baseline. She'll shoot, and a little short, no good. Rebound Tracy Baker of Kentucky State. Lofted now will control it.
We see Robin Scott and Lisa Miller are about ready to re-enter the lineup.
Daphne Johnson and Sands battling for position there underneath the Kentucky State basket. Sands called for the push-off. You see there, they're really battling for position there, and Sands got called for pushing. So Kentucky State will put it in play, and they haven't scored in a while.
They've been stuck on that number 6, and there's a foul that Amy got a little over anxious going after the ball.
So another foul. Perkins will pick it up.
Perkins, her first, the team's third.
Third team foul, and Kentucky State will put it in play again. You'll see the inbounds play right here, and see Perkins in the collision there with Kenita, or excuse me, that was with Dara Lofton. And she controls it out front. Swings it underneath the Baker. And there's a nice move. She drops it in. Or excuse me, that was Daphne Johnson.
It was a good strong move to the hoop underneath. Johnson and Vaughn have all the points for Kentucky State.
There's a nice jumper from the outside for Miller. 23-8, Lady Dons. Lofton loses it. Saved it right to Robin Scott, and her shot was partially deflected, but eventually knocked out of bounds by Leakin. Harbaugh back in, and Dawn Dressler will come out for IPFW. So Kentucky State still having a few problems against the backcourt pressure of the Lady Dons. Finally get it to Lofton, and she'll control it up court. Baker lost it, will chase it down.
Good pressure.
Miller all over her. Almost a 5-second call to Lofton now. Lady Dons still in their man-to-man. Inside it goes to Johnson, and she's tied up. Nice defensive play by Ann Leakin from the front, and Robin Scott from the back. Possession arrow was pointing toward the Lady Dons, so they'll have it. Quickly up court. Leakin will try the baseline. Shot missed. Got her own rebound. Misses it. And finally the rebound chased down by Daphne Johnson. One thing I've noticed, Kentucky State not real patient on offense.
No, they're not. They come down and they're ready to go in a hurry.
Kenita Sloan drilled one from 20 feet to make it 23-11. Scott to Miller. Left corner. Back outside to Scott. Inside Leakin. Outside Harbaugh. And she returned the favor, and Ann had turned her back to go rebound, and the ball went over her head out of bounds.
Don't think Ann's played that much on the inside with her back to the basket and wasn't expecting to get a return pass that time.
Leakin will come out, and Dressler will check back into the ball. Also coming in for Kentucky State, Carol Clemens, and also Tracy MacArthur as they rest a couple of their starters.
We're nearing the midpoint here of the first half, and the Lady Dons off to a nice start. See if they can keep the pace up now for the rest of the game.
Here, Baker in the lane puts it up and in. A nice shot over Dressler. 23-13 now. Lead down to 10. Harbaugh will control it out front. Tries to penetrate. Left corner, Miller. Looks inside. Now she'll bring it back outside and they'll set it up again. Scott, right point. Looks inside, back outside to Harbaugh. Lady Dons using some clock here, down to 9 seconds on the shot clock. Harbaugh's shot no good. Rebound Miller, and she's fouled on the play. Miller, who's very clever around that basket, gets a lot of offensive rebounds, and she came down with that one, went right back up. It was hammered on the play by Clemens, and Lisa will be at the line for 2 shots.
Very seldom will Lisa have the ball inside and not come up with some sort of an opportunity to score.
I think the most impressive statistic about Lisa is the 168 rebounds coming into the ball game, because she's really not that big of a young lady, but she positions herself well, and she gets a lot of rebounds for a young lady her size.
She's a good example of one to follow her example by getting the position and the anticipation of where the ball might go.
She drops both of the free throws in to make it 25-13. MacArthur out front, looking inside, gets by Perkins, takes it to the basket, and shot partially deflected, but offensive rebound was put up, no good. There's Baker with another rebound, and finally Scott controls it for the Lady Dons. Up court to Miller. Miller on the run. Take it right to the basket, lay it up and in. 27-13, Lady Dons.
And Lisa, too, has surpassed the old career scoring mark, but she has a new mark to go after now.
Inside to Clemens. Clemens to Johnson. Shot a little long. Rebound Dressler.
Kentucky State Ball Club has a tendency to take that one shot and then not follow.
There's a steal. And here's a breakaway by Sloan. Lays it up and in. She took it right away from Perkins and scores to make it 27-15.
Picked her pocket.
Inside Harbaugh, and she can't handle it. Conley and Kelly Underwood into the game for the Lady Dons. Perkins and Dressler will come out. So Terry Rosinski shuffling people in and out. Tracy MacArthur with the ball.
It's one of those ball games so far where Indiana Purdue does have a 12-point lead, but it's not necessarily a comfortable lead yet.
Robin Scott takes it right to the basket, up and in. Nice move by Robin Scott. Nice individual move. MacArthur will control. One thing Kentucky State does show a little bit of is quickness out there. Sloan inside, and Baker tried to go to the basket, was knocked off balance. The ball went out of bounds. Last touch by the Lady Dons.
A nice alert rejection by Conley inside.
Terry Rosinski looking on at her troops out on the court. Nice defensive play by Underwood, knocked it out of bounds. Carol Clemens will trigger it in for the Thoroughbreds to Sloan. Kenita Sloan out to MacArthur to Sloan. Right wing inside to Baker. She'll put it up in traffic. A little long. Rebound tipped out in the backcourt. Chased down by Sloan at Kentucky State. Tracy MacArthur now with it. She'll take it down the lane, dish it off to Sloan. She'll shoot a three and get it.
And I think that's her third or second three-pointer. Yes, it is.
Tracy MacArthur really set that up by penetrating and then popping it out. There's a pass to Sands, and she can't handle it.
And that's the third or fourth time that Indiana Purdue has been able to work the ball inside and not be able to handle it. I'm not sure they're expecting to get the ball inside.
Here's a good look at Amy Hogan, who's coming into the game for the first time tonight. The 5'10" sophomore from Fort Wayne, Bishop Dwenger. Ball finally put in play by Kentucky State. Daphne Johnson with it. Now she gets it to MacArthur, and she'll bring it right across midcourt. Nice pass inside to Baker. She'll take it to the bucket, and she can't hit it, but she's fouled by Sands.
That'll be Shelley's second foul.
Number 35,
Tracy MacArthur has come in off the bench for Kentucky State and has improved their ball handling a little bit. She's made a couple of really nice passes. Here comes Lisa Miller back in, and Conley will sit down.
And number 24, Lisa Miller. Number 10, Michelle Conley.
Tracy Baker will be at the line, junior out of Toledo, Ohio. And she misses on the first opportunity. 6:56 left to go here in the first half. 29-18. Lady Dons lead it. Search of their 18th win of the year. Both free throws no good. Rebound Miller to Hogan. Court to Perkins. Perkins looks inside. Tries to feed it to Scott. Finally chases it down in the right corner. Inside Sands. Turn around. No good. Rebound Miller again. Or excuse me, that was Hogan that got it to Miller, and she misses a shot. And here comes Kentucky State. MacArthur will bring it up. Lady Don still in that man-to-man. Inside to Johnson. She'll swing it outside to MacArthur. Back to Johnson, and good weak side defense by Hogan knocks it away. Lady Don's on the attack. Hogan, right corner. Will bring it cross court to Scott. Scott will walk. Violation. Turnover will give the ball back to Kentucky State. Chiffon Vaughn back into the game for the Thoroughbreds, and let's see, Clemens will check out of the game for Kentucky State. Both ball clubs little splurty here in the first half. Not a lot of flow. There's a pass inside to Baker, and she scores. That was Vaughn, not Baker. Good position on the baseline. 29-20.
Like
Dave,
I said early,
Kentucky State trying to get back in it.
That's right. We just can't get that lead out and consistently play good ball. Good hustle by Amy Hogan that time to save the ball, and got a bucket by Robin Scott.
Nice play by Amy Hogan. 31-20. MacArthur to Sloan, the right wing. Up front it goes to Vaughn. Vaughn to Johnson, had the ball knocked away, picked up by Baker over there, and her shot's too long. Rebound Lady Dons. Perkins to Scott. Scott to Miller. She'll put it up and in and out. No good. Rebound Johnson for Kentucky State. Here comes MacArthur. Races across midcourt, takes it right down, stops, has the ball knocked away, and stolen by Sands. And ball knocked out of her hands, and whose ball? Lady Don's basketball. Comes two more subs in, Dressler and Harbaugh. Harbaugh, let's see. Dressler came in, and Leakin, I believe.
Shelly Sands looked that time like not only did the Kentucky State player get the ball, but her head, her arm, and half of her back.
She had a little help going out of bounds.
She did.
Shot no good by Miller, and rebound is up and in by Leakin.
Nice hustle on the inside.
Lead back up to 13, 33-20. About 4.5 minutes to play here, first half. MacArthur will drive, lost control of the ball, and she traveled. She's had some success penetrating in there.
Yes, she has.
At that time, she just lost control.
Couldn't get a hold of the ball and complete her move.
Conley back in for the Lady Dons, and Scott will sit down.
Well, outside of a flurry of turnovers, perhaps, by the Lady Dons here tonight, their play has been pretty well.
Miller to Leakin, steps inside, puts it up a little long. Rebound Kentucky State. Up court to Vaughn, and I believe she's fouled by Perkins.
Personal foul.
It'll be Amy's second.
Amy Perkins, her second personal foul. The team's fifth.
Kentucky State still not in the bonus, so they'll have it out of bounds. Harbaugh will come back in, and Perkins will sit down. There's Dunn. In the corner, Baker. Baker looking inside for Vaughn. Can't find her. will really cross-court it over there to Lofton, who came back in. She'll take it in. Can't find the shot. Johnson will put it up, and she's fouled. Conley, I think, picked up the foul.
It's Michelle's second foul.
Her second personal foul, the team's sixth.
So Daphne Johnson will be at the line, a 5'11" freshman. She's their leading scorer, averaging almost 14 points a game. And she also averages about 10 rebounds and 2 block shots a game. There's a good shot of Daphne. Free throw a little long. Kentucky State has, I believe, missed 3 or 4 in a row from the foul line.
Yeah, they're yet to hit a free throw. They're 0 for 3.
And there they go. 33-21.
Whereas IPFW, on the other hand, has hit their first 7 free throws.
There's a nice pass from Miller to Leakin, and she scores.
Assist for Lisa Miller.
35-21. MacArthur. She likes to get out and go with that ball. It's at the top of the key, looking inside for Johnson. Conley all over her. And there's nice defensive play by Michelle Conley. Just knocked the ball out of bounds away from Daphne Johnson.
Michelle's playing very aggressive defense tonight. And we need that kind of defense inside.
There's a look at Kelly Brooks into the game for the first time, and Michelle Conley will sit down. So Terry Rosinski, I believe, has played just about everybody. I don't think we've seen Melissa Shipp yet. There's a shot from the outside, up and in. 3-point bucket there by Dara Lofton. 35-24, and Lofton steals it at the other end. So Kentucky State trying to make a run here at the 3-minute mark. There's Baker, will put it up, and no good. Ball battled for, goes out of bounds, and it will be Kentucky State's ball, as I believe it went off Leakin or Brooks.
Kentucky State is staying just close enough to keep IPFW from stretching away and getting a nice, comfortable lead.
You have to be careful with their quickness because they've come up with a lot of steals
Yes,
here in the first half. Sloan, left corner, will drive, put it up. Shot was blocked, but she got it back. Kentucky State will reload out here at the front. Baker lost it. Nice steal by Harbaugh. She's away to the races. Didn't have the break. Gets it to Leakin. Nice pass to Dressler, and she'll drop it in. There's teamwork perfection there for a bucket. 37-24. Dara Lofton will bring it up court to Baker. Back to Lofton. They work it around the key. Sloan inside Johnson. Turnaround 8-footer. Good. They worked their offense a little better that time and got a good shot and hit it.
A little more patient, and they were able to get it to Daphne on the inside, and she had a nice turnaround jump shot.
Dressler, nice pass again inside. Leakin missed it, though. Rebound Kentucky State. Thoroughbreds will control it up court.
Leakin has found out tonight that she can get some nice inside shots in that down the lane.
They're looking for her a lot, too.
That's right.
Lofton swings it inside to Vaughn, and she'll put it up in traffic. No good. Got her own rebound. Now she lost it. Ball goes out of bounds. She's fighting for it, and it's jump ball. Kelly Brooks was down there scrapping for the ball. Possession error, I believe, will give that ball back to Kentucky State. Don Dressler comes out of the ball game, and Miller back in. Tracy Baker will put it in play underneath her own basket. Pass outside to Sloan. Kenita Sloan. Now Lofton out front. Lisa Miller on her. Lady Don still in that tight man-to-man. There's a foul on the baseline on Kelly Brooks. Kentucky State having some good success getting that ball inside here, especially the last 5 or 6 minutes, to Daphne Johnson. She's starting to pick up some fouls.
When they've taken a little more time off the clock and shown a little more patience, they've been able to get inside, and it gets them a much better option at scoring.
And they continue to be within striking distance at 37-26. We've seen the Lady Dons lose some big leads here at home this year, but then hang on for victories. Free throw is up and in by Johnson, and that'll make it a 10-point ball game again at 37-27. Daphne out of Memphis, Tennessee, Hillcrest High School. Good look at her, and she misses on the second one. Rebound comes off to Harbaugh. Quickly across midcourt on the run. Now she'll back it up a little bit. Look inside, outside to Scott. Scott at the left wing, swings it to Conley. Conley in traffic will force up a shot, and she's fouled. Her shooting hand was bumped a little bit over there by Chiffon Vaughn. And Conley will be at the line shooting 2. So we're shooting a lot of free throws here in the late stages of the first half. Channel 6 college basketball action. The Lady Dons taking on Kentucky State. Free throw is up and in by Michelle. 6-foot freshman from Highland. Has played a lot of minutes this year, and she's going to get nothing but better.
She has shown a lot of improvement and is making contributions more and more.
Really likes to put a lot of arch on her free throw. She gets them both to make
I like
it
to see that.
39-27.
Gives them a chance to fall in.
You don't see that a lot anymore either.
Sometimes not enough.
There's a nice pass inside, and Vaughn could not finish it off. There's a battle for the rebound. And now we got an over the back foul called on Robin Scott as she went over and tried to make an interception on the pass. So Robin will pick up the foul. We'll see that on the replay here. Once again, Kentucky State getting it inside, and Scott with the foul over the back.
Robin was just a little late coming from the help side to shut off the backside there.
Free throw is good by Johnson. And she makes it a 39-28 ball game with 1 minute 3 seconds left to go first half. And she drops them both in. Johnson's a good-looking freshman for Kentucky
Yes, she
State.
is. She'll get better as her career moves along, too.
Quick move by Miller down the left baseline, and she draws a foul.
Personal foul on Kentucky State. Number 35, Pam Bracey.
Pam Bracey, who's been in the lineup here the last minute or so for Kentucky State, picks up her first foul of the game, and Lisa Miller will be back at the line. Lisa had 187 free throw attempts coming into this ball game as she drops a free throw in. A 79% free throw shooter coming in with 147 out of 187. And she makes both of them.
If we had a calculator, we could add 7 for 7 to that, and it has to be an improvement on her shooting.
I was surprised to see she dipped below 80% because she's been up around 85% most of the year. There's a foul on the other end.
She had a couple of games where she missed 4 or 5 free throws, maybe something like 11 for 16, which isn't too awfully bad, but for Lisa, why, it's a little subpar.
Lisa picked up the foul on the other end. Bracey will be at the line, and she misses on the first one. Bracey's out of Montgomery, Alabama. Kentucky State has a lot of states represented on their roster.
Yes, they do.
She hits 1 out of 2 to make it 41-30 with 49 seconds left to go in the half. Kentucky State showing some pressure. Harbaugh goes right by it, dishes it to Miller, jump pass to Leakin. Oh, she missed it. Ball goes out of bounds, and the Lady Dons will still control it with 39 seconds.
And Ann showed us one of those shots that was never put up high enough to have a chance to go in.
She's been short on 2 or 3 good opportunities inside here in the first half. Terry Rosinski looking at the action. There's Conley on the inbounds pass. No good. Rebound Scott, and she misses, but she was fouled. So Robin will be at the line.
This will be Robin's first opportunity at the free throw line tonight.
How's Robin and Lisa doing as far as scoring here?
Well, Robin's got 10 points, and Lisa has maybe about 13, so I think Robin's still ahead of the game, but they both surpassed the previous mark.
Robin makes the first one, 42-30 at the 35-second mark. Second one is up and in, and 2 in a row for her. Little backcourt pressure. Lofton trapped on the other side. Jump passes it, and it's intercepted by Scott. Not a real good pass there. I'm sure Coach Downs wanted to see a better opportunity for a shot.
Especially at that stage of the game, because IPFW has pushed it back up to 13 ahead near the end of the half and could have a chance here to stretch it out just a little bit.
Here goes Miller, and she's hammered again. She takes it right to the basket when she sees a little opening.
She takes a beating. She may be checking to see if the contact lenses are still in the right place. You see a replay on Lisa's drive to the basket here. Comes in, and Kentucky State really closed in on her and hammered her.
As we mentioned, Lisa not real big for all the punishment she takes throughout the course of the season. 44-30 as she makes the first one. And she drops them both in. Nice 15-point lead now for the Lady Dons. Let's see if Kentucky State will get off a shot before the end of the half. Here's Johnson. She'll put it up in traffic and hit a very difficult shot. And that's the end of the first half of play. 45 for the Lady Dons. And on that basket by Daphne Johnson, 32 for Kentucky State. And the Lady Dons a nice 13-point lead at halftime.
If we take a quick look at some of the developments here in the first half, just as a quick summary. Unofficially, and I think I kept track of all of these, IPFW was perfect at the free throw line, 15 for 15, with Lisa Miller having 9 of those. As we said, she gets to the line an awful lot. In other scoring, Robin Scott has 12 points in the first half. Lisa Miller has 15. Ann Leakin, 6. Dawn Dressler, 6. And Michelle Conley, 6. So some pretty good distribution of the scoring for the Mastodons as we look during that first half. On the other side of the ledger, Daphne Johnson seems to have become the mainstay with the inside play. Daphne has come up with 12 points at halftime. Chiffon Vaughn has 6. We have 2 points for Baker, 1 point for Bracey, 4 points for Sloan, and 3 points for Lofton. She had a 3-pointer.
Okay, we're here at halftime. 45-32. The Lady Dons lead it. We're going to take a brief intermission here, and we have a program feature coming up on biological research, and then we'll be back to take a look at some more halftime stats in the second half of play. Once again, your halftime score, IPFW 45 and Kentucky State 32.
Although the United States has only recently put environmental policy on its priority list, professors at Indiana University have for some time been conducting research on our changing surroundings. One of the first signs of environmental adaptation can be observed in the nation's water sources, and 3 IU studies are taking an up-close look. With the help of his assistants, Professor Bill DeMott takes a variety of measurements to determine the algae content of this freshwater lake.
And one of the problems you have in a lot of very productive lakes with too much algae is that there's lots of small fish. And there's so many small fish that they eat most of the zooplankton, so there's nothing left to eat the algae.
The algae plant grows out of control because small fish have reduced the number of these tiny algae-eating organisms. From the results of this study, methods might be developed to restore lakes to a more natural balance. Meanwhile, another project is underway to help scientists learn more about the direct effect of water pollution on aquatic life.
What I'm trying to model with these model streams is the effect of different types of application of a toxicant on the periphyton or algal community.
More simply, Professor John Michael Stewart hopes to discover the different effects on the environment that result from the continuous introduction of mankind's waste and the single contaminating episode.
Another episodic is the Exxon Valdez off Alaska. Continuous is septic tanks leak continuously, fuel storage tanks leak continuously.
In this study, the toxin zinc is introduced in various amounts to these vats of flowing water. The professor then measures the ability for living organisms to adapt or recover.
100 parts per million zinc.
This is the most likely place to find Professor Dan Willard on a Saturday. Willard's specialty is wetlands, and with the help of these students, the professor keeps tabs on the shallow water's ability to cleanse itself.
So that when you get floodwaters, it just soaks up the floodwaters and lets them out gradually during the course of the summer. A lot of bacteria and stuff in there, cleaning up the water.
In the past 200 years, nearly 90% of all wetlands in Indiana and other states has been destroyed by agricultural and development practices.
That's a lot. 10% we could tolerate. 20% we could probably tolerate. But now we're eking away at that last 10%.
This is a look at just 3 Indiana University projects that measure the impact of human beings on the planet. Professors hope insights developed from such studies will be used to improve our damaged environment.
There seems to be a very increasing problem in this country and in our country, and in fact all over the world, of kids and young adults abusing drugs and just taking things for no good apparent reason. Channel your energies into something more positive. It doesn't go anywhere. Please listen, okay?
Children are the future for the Hoosier State, but for them to lead productive lives in this increasingly technological society, more than the current 40% must get training and education beyond high school. While there's an excellent range of private colleges and universities in Indiana, it's a fact that 80% of Hoosier students who go on for higher education attend one of the 7 state-supported institutions: Ball State, Indiana University, Ivy Tech, Purdue, Southern Indiana, or Vincennes. These colleges and universities educate youth, retrain adults, and prepare the workforce of the future, all at a reasonable price. Preparing tomorrow's workforce is of special concern. More than 200 Indiana business and industry leaders showed their concern by attending a December conference on higher education. Public Service Indiana President Jim Rogers set the tone with his opening address.
That Indiana's level of education achievement is substantially below the national and regional averages in virtually every indicator. The skills of the American workforce are not keeping pace with the rapidly increasing demands of a more competitive world economy. And in a competitive world economy, it's the skills of your people that are so very important.
This conference aimed to find out what the state-supported colleges and universities can do to help business and industry. The overwhelming answer from participants was to pursue the commitment to quality goals developed by the 7 institutions, to improve access to higher education by Indiana citizens, offer more competitive salaries to retain and attract top faculty, and help greater numbers of students complete their degrees.
If you don't have people who have been taught how to analyze problems and work out various solutions, test them out, and then come up with a recommendation, your company is not going to be able to compete. You really don't go to school to learn answers, you go to school to learn how to find answers. And that is a critical role for the college and university today.
We have a problem in Indiana in that the average faculty is paid $2,000 less than faculty across the country. And we can't continue to attract average or above average faculty if we're paying below average numbers.
We just simply, as a nation, are not competing as well as we should in the world marketplace today, and that's going to be even greater, even a greater challenge in the future. And in order to get our people prepared to compete in a global marketplace, they're going to have to be better educated at the primary, secondary, levels and certainly at our higher levels of education. It's going to take more bucks.
The need to have a good continuing education base that people can stay current with the technologies and understand how we're going to have those technologies that will keep us in a competitive environment are, well, they're just key to our growth and survival.
Of course, business and industry are not alone in their concerns about higher education. Students and teachers also value a quality higher education.
The quality of the faculty is going to affect the quality of our education, which in turn will affect how good a teacher we become. I think that at Indiana University, we are struggling to keep some of our best faculty, and that's something that we all need to be concerned about. My heart tells me I want to be a university professor, but one of the considerations I need to look at is how much I'm going to be able to be paid as a professor, and whether that will compensate me enough for the time I plan to put into it.
And here at Harrison, we have a class called Science Research, and I was able to go to Purdue and work with a professor, Professor Indusani, and he's helped me along quite a bit, and we're working on a project right now.
The Outreach Coordinator program is so wonderful because what it does, it extends to all of the teachers in the northern half of Indiana an opportunity to enrich themselves so that they can go back and enrich their students.
The presidents of the 7 state-supported institutions have issued a call for a commitment to quality for higher education in Indiana. Specifically, this commitment involves an additional 3% per year in state funding over 4 years, above increases for inflation and other adjustments. This would bring Indiana close to the national average in state funding per student. Business and industry leaders recognize this will make the state more attractive to new business and keep Indiana competitive.
But we have to convince the members of the Indiana General Assembly that education is an investment, not an expense, that the entire standard of living of all Hoosiers is based on the educational foundation that we're trying to build. We're going to have world-class educations in order to compete in this new world economy. But education has to be a top priority in the state of Indiana if we're going to do what we need to do in the next decade.
While Hoosiers are currently blessed with a strong and diverse system of higher education, changes and improvements will ensure that the educational needs of Indiana continue to be met. The commitment to quality goals of access, success, and quality set the course for a future that will provide the best higher educational opportunities to all Hoosiers. Now it's a matter of finding the resources to follow through with that commitment.
Safety belt test at 9. Hurry.
Not another windshield taste test. Count me out.
What? The old pro backing down from a motorhome?
Nothing like that. I'm just tired of trying to convince people to wear safety belts. No one's listening.
Safety belt saved Barbara Mandrell.
You're right. Someone listen. Let's hit the road.
You hungry, partner?
Let's do some donuts on the way in.
Good idea.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
There was this guy, a nationally known sports hero. And then I got busted. As a result of my lust for cocaine,
I was totally out of control, and I didn't even realize it. That's what's crazy about cocaine. I had a beautiful family, a big house in the suburbs, everything I wanted. Then I got into cocaine, and I almost lost it all.
I was crazy from cocaine. I couldn't live without it. That wasn't me. It was somebody else.
It's a lie that cocaine's not addictive. I didn't choose to be an addict. Quitting cocaine was... One night, my heart freaked out. I thought I was going to die. I risked my health, jail, and the people who love me.
Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you're taking the exact same ride.
Anyone tells you cocaine's not addictive, they lie.
Cocaine, the big lie. Call 1-800-662-HELP.
This is the new improved Robert Klein. I gave up smoking. Take care of your lungs. They're only human.
The American Lung Association, the Christmas seal people.
Their lives are fuller thanks to health care, water, and food provided by you and the Interfaith Hunger Appeal.
Welcome back to the multipurpose building now on the campus of IPFW. This is Alan Reby along with Dave Skelton. It's halftime. The IPFW Lady Dons enjoying a halftime lead of 45-32 over the Kentucky State Ball Club, and good first half for IPFW. And a quick look at those halftime stats, Dave.
We see that the Kentucky State team came in with a field goal shooting percentage of 38%, so they had a little difficulty there, 12 out of 32. Mastodons, on the other hand, were 15 for 29, 52%. Very good shooting at the field goal. And as we had indicated, the free throw, IPFW was very, very accurate, 15 out of 16. I had thought they maybe had been perfect, so I guess I missed one early. And the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, 50%, 5 out of 10.
Lots of turnovers in the first half, as you can see, 25 by both ball clubs, 15 for Kentucky State, 10 for IPFW. Fouls were dead even at 9 apiece.
I suspect both coaches would like to see those turnovers be reduced considerably.
So we'll see what happens here in the second half. 45-32, the Lady Dons on. Welcome back to the multipurpose building now on the campus of IPFW. This is Alan Reby along with Dave Skelton. It's halftime. The IPFW Lady Dons enjoying a halftime lead of 45-32 over the Kentucky State Ball Club, and good first half for IPFW. And a quick look at those halftime stats, Dave.
We see that the Kentucky State team came in with a field goal shooting percentage of 38%, so they had a little difficulty there, 12 out of 32. Mastodons, on the other hand, were 15 for 29, 52%. Very good shooting at the field goal. And as we had indicated, the free throw, IPFW was very, very accurate, 15 out of 16. I had thought they maybe had been perfect, so I guess I missed one early. And the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, 50%, 5 out of 10.
Lots of turnovers in the first half, as you can see, 25 by both ball clubs, 15 for Kentucky State, 10 for IPFW. Fouls were dead even at 9 apiece.
I suspect both coaches would like to see those turnovers be reduced considerably.
So we'll see what happens here in the second half. 45-32, the Lady Dons on top. Good performance by IPFW, especially with Pam Edwards not dressed with the team tonight. We understand Pam's family, serious illness in her family, so we wish Pam and her family the very, very best and hope she's back soon. Kentucky State with the steal, and here they come with their initial offensive set of the second half of play. Lofton out front. Lady Dons opening in a man-to-man. There's a steal by Scott. Loose ball picked up by Dressler. Same lineup that started the game. Good pass from Harbaugh to Scott. She drops it in. Excellent pass. 47-32. Backcourt pressure. There's a trap by Scott and Dressler. Almost a steal.
Robin Scott got a hand on the ball.
And we got a double dribble violation.
So the pressure defense causing a couple of early turnovers again for Kentucky State.
Carol Clemens in the lineup for the Thoroughbreds to start the second half of play. Scott in the right corner. She'll pop it. No good. Rebound Kentucky State. Baker came down with it. She'll take it across midcourt all the way down to the other end. She'll put it up and no good. Rebound Dawn Dressler. Bad pass out front, stolen by Kentucky State. Inside it goes to Vaughn. She puts it up a little long. Clemens battles for the rebound. It goes out of bounds, and the Lady Dons get it off the fingertips of Carol Clemens.
So I feel a sophomore out of Chicago, so she's probably used to this winter weather we're having here tonight, much more so than some of her teammates.
It's definitely winter. Miller will go right down the lane, and getting a hand on Miller and the ball and being whistled for the foul is Kenita Sloan. Kenita not sure she agrees with that call from the official, but Lisa Miller will put it in play underneath her own bucket.
Kenita is in some foul trouble now, and that'll hurt their attack a little bit because she's been one who's been aggressive down the lane, but that's her fourth foul here early in the second half.
She has to sit down, and Pam Bracey comes into the lineup for Kentucky State. Harbaugh to Miller, long jumper up and in from the left corner, and Lisa drills it to make it 49-32. Tracy Baker with the ball. Dara Lofton out front. Don Harbaugh picks her up, swings a pass inside to Vaughn, and she'll put it up. No good. Rebound fought for. Finally, Don Dressler had it and carried it out of bounds, and Kentucky State will get it back. And just like that, Terry Rosinski sending fresh people in. Shelly Sands will come out. And let's see, Don Dressler will come out.
And the lead has inched up to 17, which I think may be the biggest lead of the evening. And let's see if the Mastodons can keep that from slipping back now.
Lofton out front looking inside. Jump pass intended for Clemens. Deflected, picked off by Conley. And here come the Lady Dons. Miller has it. On the run to Scott. Cross courts it to Harbaugh. She'll reset the offense. There's Scott. And in and out, no good. Rebound battled for, and Scott got it back. And now the ball's kicked, and the Lady Dons will have it at side court.
And they'll have a fresh 30-second clock to work on offensively. Coach Downs shouting some instructions here of hoping to get some things turned around, I would think.
He's in his fourth year at Kentucky State. Miller, nice pass to Conley. She couldn't handle it and went out for fingertips out of bounds. Lisa had the right idea. Michelle just wasn't quite ready for it.
Wasn't quite ready to receive the pass. And again, we've seen that 4 or 5 times tonight on that inside play.
Lofton will try to work her way inside and does, and lays it up and in. Miller quickly up court for the Lady Dons. Lost her dribble and throws it back in. Loose ball finally controlled by Kentucky State. Clemens had it. Lofton will control it across midcourt. In the corner, Bracey will put it up and no good. Rebound fought for, and Robin Scott has it. Long pass up court to Miller. Miller will take it to the hoop, dish it off to Conley, and she misses it. And we got a foul on the rebound.
And Michelle has a big frown, and I think I know why. she had one she knew she could put in there.
Foul called on Kentucky State. And the Lady Dons will put it in play out front to Amy Perkins, who just checked in. To Miller. There's that corner shot, and she drills it again. That's a set out of bounds play, and Lisa's been wide open twice here in the second half off of it, and has hit both of the shots from the outside. Baker, Clemens, Lofton out front. Swings it inside to Chiffon Vaughn, and she lost it out of bounds.
Good defense that time inside as Robin Scott dropped back in to help.
Also, Daphne Johnson coming back in, and Clemens will sit down. Robin Scott comes out of the ball game, and Leakin back in for the Lady Dons. Perkins will control it across midcourt. Lofton chasing her. There's Miller. Great head fake. Puts it up. No. Rebound battled for. Conley on the offensive rebound to Perkins, and she scores. Amy Perkins with the bucket from the left corner. 53-34 IPFW. Baker at the free throw line now will penetrate, put it up and in. Nice move by Tracy Baker. Miller quickly across midcourt for the Lady Dons. And she shuffled the feet a little bit. The turnover will give it back to Kentucky State. Hogan comes in for the Lady Dons. Also coming in, Tracy MacArthur for Kentucky State. And Pam Bracey will sit down. Lofton will work her way in the right corner. Trap gets it to Johnson. She'll put it up, no good. She broke away, but she couldn't lay it in.
Lisa Miller with another rebound.
Perkins will control it out front. Hogan. She'll jump it from about 16 feet, no good. Rebound battled for, and I believe we're going to have a foul called on Lisa Miller over the back.
That'll be
battling for that rebound.
Second foul of the evening.
Lisa checks out for a breather, gets a pat on the back from Coach Terry Rosinski, and Shelley Sands back into the ball game. Chiffon Vaughn will put it in play for Kentucky State. The Thoroughbreds out of Frankfort, Kentucky. So pass inside, wide open is Johnson. Daphne Johnson on a nice pass inside drops it in. 53-38 now.
After a very strong first half, that's her first score of the second half.
Conley, good pass to Dressler. She misses. Rebound Kentucky State. Dara Lofton will control it. Takes it right to the basket, runs into Perkins, and Perkins is called for the blocking foul. Lofton likes to use her quickness, and if she sees a little opening there, she'll take advantage of it.
She doesn't need much daylight to encourage her to keep right on going. In fact, Amy, I think, was surprised to see her come that time.
Baker to Lofton. She'll fire it from three-point range. No good. Rebound, Conley. To Shelley Sands across midcourt. To Perkins out front. Perkins looks inside. Left wing to Hogan. Jumper is good. Amy Hogan with a bucket. And we're at 55-38, Lady Dons. Backcourt pressure. MacArthur had it knocked away. Sands gets it. Hogan had it for a second and wrestled away from her by Johnson. Johnson to MacArthur, and she'll walk it up court. Hogan on her. Inside to Johnson, and she's fouled from behind by Conley. Conley thought she had all ball.
Tell you the truth, I did too.
Thought that was a pretty good block.
Oh, she's called the foul on number 12. So they called Amy from in front of the play.
Amy has now picked up 4 fouls, so she'll have to be a little careful. So Daphne Johnson, the 5'11" freshman out of Memphis, at the line to shoot a couple.
She was 4 for 6 in the first half. Oops, and a little shy on that.
And she threw up kind of an air ball there.
Yes, she did. Here we'll come and get another look at the nice block by Michelle, but the foul by Amy on the inside. Yes,
that hand right on the ball there. And in and out on that one. Rebound Sands. Perkins cross midcourt. Wide open. Hogan stopping, jumping, shooting, and hitting. Nice assist on the play by Amy Perkins.
Nice
57-38.
Nice shot by Amy also. She let the defense drift on by.
Baker out front for Kentucky State. Takes it to the basket and will put it up in traffic, and good. Tough shot, made it go. 57-40. Kentucky State staying within about 17.
Kentucky State has
beautiful pass to Brooks inside. She brought it down to her waist and got in trouble there.
Yep.
But she drew the foul by putting it back up again. Daphne Johnson whistled for the foul. You see, when she brought it down to her hips, she got in trouble, but she was able to still get the shot up, and she'll be at the line on the foul.
Maybe the good thing of that was that they did draw the third foul on Daphne Johnson, and Daphne's one of their better inside players.
Good shot at Kelly out of Milford, Indiana, and she drops it in. Kelly has not played a whole lot of minutes here in a while, so I'm sure she is enjoying her PT right now.
That's right.
And she misses the second one.
1 for 2 at the line.
Rebound Clemens. She came off with authority with it. MacArthur. Tracy MacArthur. She'll set up the offense and tried to get it inside to Vaughn. Knocked away. Here comes Sands on a breakaway. She'll lay it up and in. Shelley Sands with the bucket. Lead up to 20, 60-40.
Interestingly enough, that's Shelley's first point of the night. And Kentucky State wants a timeout here, as Coach Downs would like to keep this from getting out of hand, although I think he's been fairly fortunate tonight that it hasn't gotten out of hand already. 60-40, the largest lead of the evening for the Lady Dons.
Of course, coming up after our game tonight, Kentucky State and the Mastodons will tangle.
That should be another good ball game.
And after a brief pause between games, you can see all that action here on Channel 6. One thing we might mention, some of the conference statistics coming into the ball game tonight. Lisa Miller was leading the GLVC in scoring with a 21.5 points per game average. Robin Scott was fourth in the conference, averaging almost 16 a game. Miller also was ranking fourth in free throw percentage at almost 79%, and that's probably improved tonight. And she stood sixth overall in rebounding. It's a little over 7 rebounds a game. Robin Scott was in 8th place in field goal shooting, shooting almost 49% from the field. So the Lady Dons continue to make their presence known in the conference, with a lot of people represented in the conference statistics up near the top.
And Lisa and Robin particularly provide the heart for this ball club that really makes them go.
Lofton, Amy Perkins on her. That's a good matchup in quickness. MacArthur around Hogan will put it up. No good. Rebound comes out to Baker of Kentucky State, and she'll reload the offense. Inside to Johnson, and she's fouled by Kelly Brooks. It was Clemens. Carol Clemens had the position inside, and Brooks bumped her from behind and picks up the foul. 4th team foul on the Lady Dons here in the second half. Lofton will put it up from the corner. No good. Rebound Perkins. Perkins across midcourt quickly. In the corner to Sands. Sands has the ball stripped away, and she's tied up. She was trapped over there in the right corner, and the possession arrow gives the ball to Kentucky State. Vaughn will put it in play. She looks up court, but gives it to MacArthur, and she'll walk it across midcourt. 12:15 left to go in the ball game. Lady Dons enjoying a comfortable 20-point lead right now. There's Baker. She'll shoot it up in traffic. No good. Rebound Perkins. Behind the back. Quickly across midcourt to Dressler. Dressler outside to Sands. Sands to Hogan. She'll shoot it from 3-point range. No good.
Looked like it might be good there for a moment. It was a little strong off the backside of the rim.
MacArthur out front. Hogan will pick her up. To Baker. Baker around her man, puts it up and in. Baker's a pretty good shooter on the run. She scores again to make it 60-42.
Kentucky State's got some good-looking young ball players. Give them another year or two, and they'll be very competitive in this league.
Perkins to Dressler. Tried to feed it to Sands. Over her head, intercepted by Clemens. And the Thoroughbreds will bring it across midcourt. Ball knocked out of bounds and a nice defensive play by Dressler. Now we got 4 new players for IPFW. Conley, Leakin, Scott, and Harbaugh all come in. Sands, Brooks, Hogan all go out.
Amy Perkins was the lone player that stayed in the ball game at that time.
Don Dressler also getting a rest here. MacArthur, good penetration inside and drops it in off the glass to make it 60-44. 4 unanswered points by Kentucky State. Harbaugh out front to Perkins. Drive by Harbaugh, couldn't get it to go. Rebound Vaughn to Clemens, and here comes MacArthur of Kentucky State. Harbaugh on her. Bounce pass inside to Vaughn. Fade away, little long. Rebound comes off to Leakin. She's tied up, and the possession is pointing toward the Lady Dons, and they'll have the basketball. Miller comes back in. Perkins sits down, and Amy did a nice job while she was in there.
Yes, she did.
Some valuable minutes for her.
MacArthur has come off of the bench for Kentucky State and given them much the same kind of aggressive drive down the middle that they were getting earlier out of Sloan when she got in foul trouble.
Notice Sloan's back in there, and she forces a traveling violation on Leakin.
Yep. A lot of quickness on the floor right now for Kentucky State.
Here comes MacArthur, point guard of Kentucky State, to Lofton. Here's Sloan from the outside. That's an air ball. And Leakin had it, but stepped out of bounds.
Looked like 2 or 3 things that could have been called on that one, but the out of bounds is what he got.
That was good news, bad news. Good news, I got the rebound. Bad news, I'm standing out of bounds. Lofton will shoot it up. No good. Rebound battled for. Comes right back to Kentucky State. Outside to Sloan. She'll fire up a 3-pointer and score it.
They were bound and determined that time on their 3-point shooting.
Very quietly, they're on a 7-0 run. They've gone from 60-40 to 60-47. Harbaugh to Miller. She'll put it up. A little long. No good. Rebound Kentucky State. Fighting out with it is Chiffon Vaughn. And this could cut the lead in half right here with a 3-pointer.
Kenita Sloan has 3 of those tonight already, and here she goes for another.
No good. Rebound all Miller for the Lady Dons. 9:25 left to go in the game. Harbaugh will control it out front to Scott. She gets it underneath to McConley. Turn around. No good. Rebound battled for. Here comes Kentucky State. Thoroughbred basketball. Lofton right around Harbaugh, and she carried it. She made a nice move to get around Harbaugh, and then she carried it.
We're into a little bit of a stretch of the ball game here for the Mastodons, where they're having difficulty getting the shot to go in the hoop. Working the ball, getting some pretty nice shots, but they just can't get one to fall through.
Wrecker in and Connolly out. For IPFW, Scott. Nice pass inside to Wrecker. She'll take it to the basket and score.
All right.
Kim Wrecker with the bucket, 62-47. That breaks the run of offense by Kentucky State. Tracy MacArthur out front. Harbaugh almost with a steal. Goes right around Harbaugh, puts it up and in. Nice move there by MacArthur. Harbaugh went for the steal, and when she didn't get it, MacArthur took the ball right to the bucket. There's a steal by Lofton. She's across midcourt quickly. Back outside to MacArthur. To Lofton. This is really a small lineup for Kentucky State, but they're coming up with a lot of steals, but they throw it away there. Long pass down court to Miller. She's open. She'll put it up and in. Nice pass to Lisa.
Yes, it was. Nice lead pass on that fast break.
Trapped over here is MacArthur, and it was knocked off her.
Forced her out of bounds, and so it'll be the Mastodons' ball.
Some more substitutes as Perkins is back in, but we're going to have a timeout on the court at the 8-minute mark left to go in the game. 64 for the Lady Dons and 49 for Kentucky State. It's a good opportunity to hear from Coach Terry Rosinski. in a interview this week. What kind of competition do you expect from Kentucky State? Let's hear what Terry has to say about that.
Well, regardless of the level of competition we'll face, it's critical at this point in the season that we're able to execute and do the things that we need to do to be successful. And, you know, after last week with really playing extremely well against the University of Southern Indiana, who's very young and is very down this year, then we came out and faced a team that was perhaps of a little higher caliber, but we were, how do I want to say this, we were not as high of a caliber team on Saturday of last week as we were on the Thursday game. So my concern is that my team come out and play at a consistent level, consistently high level, regardless of the competition we're up against.
Consistency. Everybody wants it.
That coach likes them, and it's she didn't get what she was looking for there, I'm sure, with another turnover. It's almost as though we've been just a little over anxious to make a pass rather than to let things open up and get the ball where we want it to be.
Miller to Perkins out front. To Scott, right side. To Leakin. Free throw line. Her pass is intercepted by Lofton. She's away to the races here. She's going to go right down, lay it up, and no good. She got by Miller, and now we got a foul called on the rebound, and the basket was put up there by Sloan and was made, and she was fouled in the act of shooting. The basket's good to make it 64-51. And Sloan will be at the line. Kenita Sloan in an effort to make it a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
In some respects, this is a tough game for IPFW to play tonight because they have the really big ball game coming up Saturday against Bellarmine, and that's for one of the top spots in the conference.
Free throw no good. Rebound Miller.
They must play this one and play it well too.
And of course, from a coaching standpoint, you're always hoping your kids don't look ahead.
That's right.
Miller has the ball knocked away, and it goes out of bounds, and the Lady Dons will control it.
And you have to hand it to Kentucky State. They've hung right in here after getting down 20 points, and now they've cut that lead to 13.
And another 7-0 run like they had a couple of seconds ago, and they're right back in it.
It would be very tight. And there's still over 7 minutes to play.
Recker will try the baseline and score. So the Ottawa, Ohio freshman scores to make it 66-51.
Kim has come in here in the second half and given them a couple of nice buckets inside.
Sloan will cross court it to Lofton. She goes right by Miller, dumps it off, but it was picked off by the Lady Don defense. Perkins jump pass to Miller. She'll put it up. No good. Rebound off to Kentucky State. Here comes MacArthur.
I think Lisa lost control of that ball on the way up that time.
MacArthur ran over Robin Scott, missed the shot. They got a jump ball on the rebound.
I was going to say Amy Perkins is in a tough spot there because she's not very big, and she was being closed in on from all three directions.
Miller will sit down, and who came in there? Michelle Conley for IPFW. MacArthur will dump it to Baker, and she's fouled in the act of shooting. Nice pass inside by Tracy MacArthur to Tracy Baker. So the two Tracys teamed up there, and Baker will be at the line for a couple of free throws.
This is just about as tall a lineup as IPFW will put on the floor with Conley, Recker, and Robin Scott.
Free throw no good by Baker.
She's 0 for 3 at the line tonight.
Well, one of the nice things when you have a big lead like Terry Rosinski has enjoyed tonight, she can look at a lot of different combinations in there and just learn a little bit more about your ball club. Both free throws no good. Scott takes it down, puts it up, no good, and a foul. Nice penetration by Robin Scott, just could not get it to drop in there. The Thoroughbreds pick up the foul. Fourth team foul in Kentucky State. Sloan with her fifth foul, and That's it for her tonight. She'll take a seat. Carol Clemens, a 5'10 sophomore out of Chicago, will replace her in the lineup. And also coming in will be Shannon White for IPFW. See her getting rid of the warm-up jackets and so on. I don't believe Shannon's been in the game yet.
I think this is her first appearance.
So Clemens also in, and White replacing Sloan, who's just fouled out.
Be nice to see the Mastodons take these last 6 minutes and some seconds and be as sharp as they can in preparation for Saturday's big showdown.
There's a quick whistle and a foul on Baker. Her second, team foul 5, and Lady Dons will put it in play again. Robin Scott will sit down. So right now we have Dressler, Hogan, Recker, Conley, and Perkins in there. So I think that's an all-freshman 5 out there. It's a shot by Hogan, and she put for Dressler, and she'll put it up and in. Had her shot blocked, it came right back to her. She took it right to the basket and scores.
They ran the same out-of-bounds play that time, only with Dressler on the scoring end as opposed to the one that Lisa Miller normally would be shooting.
It's a pass inside, intercepted by Dressler. So we're looking at some IPFW future here. 5 freshmen on the court. Perkins had it knocked away and went all the way down, laying it up and off the glass, no good. Was Lofton, and here come the Lady Dons. Perkins across midcourts, cross courts it to Don Dressler. Bounce pass in the left corner. Recker tried to feed it inside, and Clemens intercepted it on a nice defensive play. Just play a little bit ragged. MacArthur will walk it across midcourt. She penetrates inside, dumps it off to Clemens, and she puts it up and in. 68-53. Nice pass from MacArthur. Let's see if IPFW can execute here. Conley in the free throw lane, and she's tied up. Boy, when you bring that ball down to your hips, you're just asking for trouble.
That's right. It's going to draw a crowd. And there wasn't much movement by the rest of the IPFW offense that time, so she had no opportunity to pass off. Couldn't get a clear shot at the basket, although she does that time, and puts it in.
I'm sure that's what Terry Rosinski's looking for right now, these 5 freshmen, is some execution and some patience on offense. MacArthur out front for Kentucky State. She really likes to work down that baseline. She's double teamed, the ball knocked away, but finally picked up and controlled. Tracy Baker, she likes to work this spin move. She puts it up, no good. Rebound, Recker to Perkins, cross midcourt quickly, trying to drive, sealed off on the right baseline, brings it back outside, bounce pass, working around the horn. Hogan's shot, no good. Rebound, Kentucky State. Thoroughbreds will bring it up court. 4 minutes left to go in the game. 70-53. Lady Dons lead it by 17. Lofton will take it to the hole, dump it off to Clemens, and she's fouled from behind by Amy Hogan. Nice bounce pass inside by Lofton to set up her teammate, and they draw the foul. Another timeout on the court. 17-point lead for the Lady Dons as both ball clubs will huddle up here.
And we have another interview here with Coach Rosinski from the IPFW Lady Dons relative to their preparation as they looked at tonight's game with Kentucky State.
Well, we're just trying to get ourselves back in gear. We ran extremely well against the University of Southern Indiana. Obviously, we were scoring 107 points. We had to do something right. And then against Kentucky Wesleyan, we never really did get our fast break going. It appeared that they tried to deny the outlet pass to our point guard, who was really our only true guard in the lineup. And that seemed to cause some problems with us getting our break started. So back to Kentucky State, we're just trying to ensure that our fast break does not get stopped, no matter what the opposition throws up against us, and just better execution all the way around.
And I think they've had good success with their break tonight.
Yes, they have. And in fact, on several occasions, they have run the fast break to almost to perfection with the nice lead pass and the layup. It's been the set offense. It's been a little more difficult for them to be able to execute and get the kind of open shot they'd like.
So here we go. Carol Clemens at the line. Out of Chicago, 5'10". Looks a little taller than that. Fouled before the timeout. She puts it up and in. 70-54. That'll cut the lead to 16. Good look at Carol there. Another misses the free throw. She's another youngster on this team, only a sophomore, so she'll be back. Now she's got it underneath the bucket. Jump pass outside to McCarthy. Lofton out front on the left-hand dribble. Swinging inside, and that was intended for White. Off her fingertips, out of bounds. Turnover will give it to Lady Dons.
Good defense by Dawn Dressler that time to deny the pass and causing it to go over the head and out of bounds.
Melissa Shipp into the ball game. We haven't seen a whole lot of Melissa tonight. Good outside shooter for the Lady Dons. Hogan will bring it across to Recker, inside to Connolly. Fights for it, has the ball stripped away by Lofton. Jump pass up court to MacArthur. We'll reload the offense now for Kentucky State, and she travels.
I think Coach Downs has turned the defensive pressure up a couple of notches here for Kentucky State in this second half, because they have been very, very pesky, especially when the ball gets in close underneath the basket.
This team has a lot of potential with their young people. They have a lot of good team quickness, and a lot of coaches like to have that.
It's been a long season for them, but I suspect they'll come back next year with a fresh start, new attitude, and go right at it.
Hogan no good. Rebound saved from going out of bounds by Shipp. Nice play outside to Perkins. She'll jump it from about 8 feet. No good. Rebound Connolly, and she'll put it up and in. Nice offensive rebound by Michelle Connolly.
She stayed right in there and got one up high enough that time for it to fall through.
Thoroughbred's looking for a bucket here. Baker will fire it up from the corner. No good. Rebound Connolly. Or Recker. Kim Recker with the rebound.
Until you see their numbers, they look a lot alike, don't they?
A lot of blonde hair out there.
That's right. Long blonde ponytail.
Ponytails. Really, with Hogan out there, too, she's got that ponytail. There's a jump ball. Melissa Shipp was tied up on the baseline. There's a good look at Melissa.
Again, that was an example of that ball going down in close underneath the basket and just drawing a swarm of green shirts.
Possession gives it to Kentucky State. MacArthur has her shot very nicely deflected by Perkins, and now we've got a traveling violation call. So the ball will go back to the Lady Dons. Nice defensive play by Perkins.
Yes, it was. She'd be one of the few people you'd expect to get a block shot, but she tipped it away.
Amy will control it up court now. Across midcourt. And palming the ball called. We don't see that called much anymore, but she was guilty of it there. The ball will go back to Kentucky State.
She was just a little bit out of sync with the ball that time, and it jumped up on her.
Oscar Downs playing a lot of people in and out. Shannon White will put it in play for Kentucky State. Tracy MacArthur, little quarterback out there for Kentucky State. She's involved in the offense a lot. It's inside to Baker, and she's hammered by Shipp as she had position underneath on her. And she'll be at the line. 1:52 left to go in the game. 72-54. Been on all IPFW since early. Sure, stay tuned tonight here on Channel 6 as the Mastodons, the men's team, will be taking on Kentucky State right after this one. Free throw is up and in by Baker. Kelly Underwood also into the ball game for the Lady Dons.
Baker with her first successful attempt after 4 misses, and she then hits 2 in a row.
Makes it 72-56. Perkins really getting some valuable playing time here at point guard. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of her next year. Conley inside, and she's hammered on the play.
And that's putting it lightly.
That was a big-time foul there.
Yes, it was.
So Michelle will be at the line. See, she gets the ball inside. Good fake, and then she's...
In fact, the one that was called was probably the second or third foul.
Kamikaze defense there by Tracy Baker.
Good shot of Michelle as she prepares for the free throw.
Likes to arch him, and that one didn't quite get there. You have another opportunity. 73-56, 1:39 left to go. Baker on the way to the races, lays it up, no good, in and out, ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to belong to Kentucky State.
Baker wanted to grab a hold of it, but she knew she hadn't made it back into inbounds.
She'll trigger it in bounds. You know, it's been interesting here in the second half, Dave. We haven't seen a whole lot of Daphne Johnson, and I thought she looked real good in the first half.
Yes, she did.
Maybe a little under the weather. Kentucky State gets a bucket to make it 73-58. Kelly Underwood out front. Dishes it right side to Ship. Ship inside to Conley. She wanted the ball, and a pushing foul called on Clemens. Conley's worked hard to get that ball tonight. She works hard this summer on her inside moves. Once she receives that ball, she's going to be a tough customer because she's got the size to do a lot of damage.
She's played a good ball game tonight.
And just a freshman. Free throw, no good. Lofton will control it across midcourt. Tried to feed it up court on the run to Clemens, and she couldn't handle it. So the ball will go back to the Lady Dons with 1 minute left to go in the ball game. Big ball game here Saturday. Bellarmine in. Lady Dons third in the conference. Bellarmine second. So big showdown conference play. Coach's Corner with Terry Rosinski to be featured between games right after this one and before the men's action tonight. So you want to stay tuned to Channel 6 for that. Lofton picks up a foul, and Melissa Ship will be at the line. I think this will be her first try at the free throw line tonight.
You mentioned the Bellarmine Bells coming in here on Saturday night, and they're currently a half game ahead of IPFW. However, they could have a pretty difficult ball game tonight. They're playing at Ashland, and Ashland has had a real good season.
Melissa couldn't get the free throw to go, so Kentucky State controls it. Lofton, left corner, inside it goes to Baker, and she's hooked on the play by Ship. Baker's posting Ship up underneath the basket and drawing some fouls here late in the game. Baker will be at the line again. Baker's had a pretty good game.
She's had a real strong second half and had a respectable first half.
And she misses, however, on the free throw. A battle on the rebound. And an over the back foul called on Carol Clemens.
And we're into that part of the ball game that could go very slowly.
We're at the 30-second mark, but sometimes that takes a while. Kim Recker will be at the line. You just look down there and see all these freshmen, and you just have to think things are going to be good shape here at IPFW for a while.
And it's very encouraging.
Free throw a little long. Rebound Vaughn. Here comes Kentucky State. 22 seconds left to go in the game. Boynton will fire it up from 3 points. No good. Rebound Clemens, and she loses it out of bounds. 73-58. Lady Dons may get one or two more chances here at the bucket. Conley to Underwood. Underwood to Ship. to Underwood. I'd like to see Kelly get a shot off here. Bounce pass to Grecker, and she loses it. Picked up by Kentucky State. Baker, jump pass up court to Lofton, and that is going to do it. She hits a lay-in, but I believe it was after the buzzer.
Although I think he just made the signal they're going to count it.
So that's your ball game. IPFW pretty much dominating the game, out with an early lead and maintaining it most of the way, and they lead it all the way and pick up their 18th win of the season by the score of 73-60 over the Kentucky State Ball Club. IPFW now will be 11-3 in the conference. Kentucky State will fall to 3-20 overall, 1-12 in the conference, but I still see some bright spots there for Coach Oscar Downs.
Oh, I think so.
Young players to build around for the future.
And in this game tonight, even though they were never really in it to seriously contend for the victory, they were never out of it either that far. Even when they were down 20, there was still a lot of time left in the game. They quickly cut it down to a 13-point lead. So, yeah, they've got a nice young ball club.
Any interesting final stats? We won't have any the final official stats, but you might quickly run down any of the individual scoring you have there, Dave.
For IPFW tonight, for their 73 points, their two leading scorers were again their leading scorers, and just about on average, as Lisa Miller had 21 points on 6 field goals and 9 free throws. Robin Scott had 14 points, 6 field goals, and 2 free throws. One other player in double figures for the Mastodons, Michelle Conley, with a good solid ball game tonight. 4 field goals, 3 free throws for a total of 11 points. Amy Perkins contributed a field goal for 2 points. Dawn Dressler, 4 field goals for 8 points. Ann Leakin had 6 points on 2 field goals and 2 free throws. Shelly Sands, 1 field goal for 2 points. Kelly Brooks, a point at the free throw line. Amy Hogan off the bench tonight for 2 field goals for 4 points, and Kim Recker 2 field goals for 4 points. For the visiting Kentucky State team, Sloan, number 34, had 2 field goals and 3 3-point baskets for 13 points. Baker had 5 field goals, 2 free throws for 12 points. Johnson, with the bulk of her scoring coming in the first half, had 5 field goals, 4 free throws for 14 points. So they had 3 young ladies in there with 12, 13, and 14. Vaughn contributed 6 points. Single free throw by Bracey, number 35. 2 field goals and a free throw for 5 points, Lofton. And Clemens came in off of the bench for a field goal, a free throw for 3 points. And MacArthur, as we had indicated, 2 field goals for 4 points. So pretty good balance. Both ball clubs tonight. A hard-played game. Kentucky State, again, coming up short. The Lady Dons now in a nice position to host the Bellarmine Bells on Saturday night and to go right after that second place in the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
And we encourage folks to get out and see that game Saturday, and if they can't, that'll be our next TV game here on Channel 6, 6 o'clock game, big conference showdown with Bellarmine. Dave, I enjoyed working with you tonight.
It was a nice evening.
Welcome once again to another edition of Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Mark Bangert. With me, the IPFW men's volleyball coach, Arnie Ball. Welcome back, Arnie.
Thanks, Mark. It's nice to be here.
Of course, going into tomorrow night's match with Ball State, it's a very important match. It's the start of the MIVA season. We've already lost a couple of 5-game matches with them. What do you see trying to do differently that we haven't done so far in trying to defeat Ball State?
Execution. Good, solid execution in all phases of the game. The 2 matches you referred to earlier that we have lost to them in 5 games has not necessarily been the things that they have done to us, but the things that we have consistently done to ourselves to shoot ourselves in the foot, to allow them to gain an advantage. So we have to just pure and simple execute at a much more consistent level at all phases of the game.
I know, talking with a couple of the players after the most recent time we played Ball State, it seemed like the passing had sort of gone downhill, and it's tough to execute the offense when the passing goes.
Well, not only the last time we played them, but the first time we played them as well. The first time we played them, we were two games ahead, 2 games to none. Out of Penn State, we played them the last time, we were ahead 2 games to 1. Mm-hmm. And not only does the passing breaks down, but and of course when that breaks down, then the offensive consistency and the options that we have in our offense become very predictable. To Ball State's credit, when that happens, and they are a very good defensive team, and they keep the ball into play, and so the longer they keep the ball into play, the more the opportunity for us to make an error. And on top of that, in both of those matches, we had really great spurts or great plays, or we'd stuff balls, or we'd service ace, or we'd make a real nice transitional play and stick the ball for a point, and then we go back and serve the ball in the net or out of bounds. And when you consistently do that at key times, it really deflates any kind of momentum that you had developed. You know, people ask me, no matter where I go, who have seen both or seen the first match in particular, you know, what happened? Well, the momentum changed, and in this game, when the momentum changes, you've got to be a really strong side-out team and a consistent team in all the skills of the game in order to come back and take the momentum back from the team who has gained it in that situation. We never were able to do that. And we've lost both those matches in 5 games in the rally scoring system, one 15 to 11, one 15 to 13. So it's not like they beat up on us or anything. We're right there. But when we get them in a position to be able to win, we have to take advantage of that and not be inconsistent as we have been in the past.
I know when we were up 2-0 in the first one, when the momentum had switched in Game 3, one of the things I had noticed is our defense had sort of gone downhill, and it seemed like they were digging all the balls, and our guys were standing around maybe feeling, I don't know, it wouldn't seem like they'd be feeling the pressure after, you know, some of them have played Ball State 3 and 4 years.
No, I don't think pressure has anything to do with it, you know, and there's this phenomenon out there that Ball State has this magical power over us, and that's a bunch of baloney as far as I'm concerned. It just becomes back to a matter of execution on our part. And you talk about our defense standing around, and that's probably true. We are an offensive-oriented team. Always have been ever since I've been here, and that's kind of ironic because as a player I'm kind of more of a defensive person than an offensive person. And an offensive team has to be very consistent in their ball handling skills. A defensive-oriented team sticks an arm out and brings the ball back over the net, or makes a great diving play and brings the ball back over the net expecting you to err. And that's what we've done. And as I said, we're an offensive-oriented team. We depend on our side-out offense to not allow the other team to score. And, of course, in volleyball, if you side out every time, you can't ever lose. And I keep telling the kids that, but we don't side out every time. The other thing is we depend a lot on our block. We have some size, and we've always been a pretty good blocking team, but when blocking breaks down, then our backcourt defensive skills are not real good. And so that's one of the things we've been spending a lot of time on, especially the last couple of weeks. One of the areas of the game that we have really got to improve on is our backcourt skills and our serving aggressiveness and our tactical parts of the serving that we need to do. And those two things are things that Ball State does very well, both serving and playing backcourt defense. And so they constantly, if we allow them to, they constantly keep that pressure on us. And as an offensive-oriented team, you would think that we would be able to handle that, and we have not gotten to that point.
I know going into this match, as far as key personnel changes, you've been able to rotate a lot of guys in this year, more than in years past. A lot of the guys off the bench could be starters. I mean, they're that strong. I know Neil Day has been doing great in the front row. He seems to be an excellent blocker, and gives us that added height and jumping ability in the front row. And as well as Neil, there's specific backcourt people like Mike Steiner, Paul Springob. You got Juan Ortiz who can pass, You know, are you planning on using them more in the match with Ball State? Are you staying mainly with the 6 starters that we've been going with this year?
A lot depends on the match itself, Mark, and as we watch the individuals play and with what kind of intensity and concentration they can stay in the match with, and if they lose some of that, then we may need to make some adjustments in our personnel. We have moved Fred back into the middle as compared to being in the opposite position that I had him last time we played Ball State, and he's going to stay there. Got to keep him there so him and Loy develop some continuity between the two of them, and that is beginning to come around. It also has allowed him to be in the passing scheme when Norman and Raul have some problems right now. Norman and Raul are doing all the passing for us. Tony's passing is getting better, so we're leaving Tony and Raul on the outside and putting Norman opposite with Tom and Fred in the middle. Neil certainly at this point is the number one middle off the bench. He comes in with a lot of intensity and a lot of enthusiasm. His best attribute is blocking, and he's a very strong young man, a very physical young man. Doesn't have a lot of endurance, and so it's difficult for him to play all the time. I don't know why, because he's physically very strong, but he seems not to have, maybe because he puts so much energy into playing, that he seems to lose some endurance. You mentioned Juan. Juan certainly, if we need someone to come in and pass the ball, will be the first one that we'll call upon to do that. And I have no problems with playing either one of those individuals at any time, whether it be starting or putting them in any time. Another young man who has really shown some promise in the last 2 weeks since we've had this time off has been Larry Fulgari. Not very many people know much about Larry. He's a 6'3" kid out of New York, but he's a left-handed kid. And yesterday in practice, he banged the ball to the back row better than anybody we have, including Fred, which is pretty scary. So there are some things that we're going to be looking at on down the road in regards to Larry's contribution to our team, and I think will have a real positive effect upon what we're able to do.
I know when the team wasn't able to play Guelph because they got snowbound in Canada, and they took on the ex-IPFW Mastodons, a group of players that used to play under you. Larry Fulgari and Quentin Spiegel both played pretty well. I know Larry seemed to hit the ball very hard, and then Quentin didn't even do too badly on the strong side.
Quentin's a young man that we're not sure what to do with right now. Quentin came in as an opposite player. He played that position at the Olympic Festival. He's played some middle. We think he could make a good swing hitter, but his passing skills are not very good at this time, and he's got to spend a lot of time at him. But what's pretty amazing about Quentin, yesterday in practice, Coach Johnson asked him to touch the top of the antenna. And I looked at Coach Johnson like, you know, what's going on here? We don't have very many guys that can touch the top of the antenna. Boom, he jumped right up there and touched the top of the antenna. Now, he has extremely long arms, which helps be able to do that kind of thing, but pretty effortlessly. And he's a hard-working kid. He's a very intellectual young man. He understands what we're trying to do, but it's all new to him. And he just hasn't made the adjustment yet that we'd like for him to have made. So I got to look real hard find a place for him. I was thinking about that just before coming over here today because of what Larry has done and what our options are with some of the young kids, Quentin being one of them. And we may slide him back into the middle just because of that jumping ability and those long arms, because that make him a good blocker in the middle against quick attack. So you're right. I mean, he's done a real nice job for us. Paul Springham's come in and done a nice job for us. We have more depth right now than we've ever had. Practice is very tenacious because the second team hates to lose to the first team, and the first team hates to lose to the second team. So it's been a real positive atmosphere from that standpoint.
Well, I also feel that the thing with Ball State is probably not a big a deal as a lot of people are making it out to be. And hopefully when IPFW plays Ball State University, they'll be able to rectify their problems in execution and have a big match against the Ball State Cardinals and get that first win in the